invitation. And I do believe she's there.
Howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing, dear?
I'm good. I got some window stripes on me, but yeah.
Must be one of those sunny afternoons in Texas. Uh-oh. Can't have the sunny lines on her eyeballs, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. All right, much better.
Close those blinds.
Yeah. Too much.
See, I don't have sunlight coming through because there's this storm called Dorian that's just eating the sun alive.
Yes. I'll tell you what, it was almost a storm here too. I don't know what was going on, but it was thundering and the sky was all gray and my dogs were freaking out and being annoying. So we had something come through. I'm not exactly sure if it has anything to do with Dorian or not. I don't know, but we had.
I don't think so. We're about 1,600 miles away from you. I think it's probably not about Dorian. Hey, we appreciate folks coming in tonight and hanging with us. This is
howdy, y'all.
The 15th episode of the KetovoreKast. In addition to this being up for 24 hours here on Instagram, it will be uploaded to the KetovoreKast YouTube page. Folks want to go review, maybe get some information, check on it, share it with a friend, feel free. How you doing otherwise? Everything okie dokie?
Yeah, I'm doing really, really good. I just kind of miss my husband because he's up in the mountains in Colorado elk hunting instead of taking me out. But,
oh, you poor thing.
Right?
You didn't get to go out on Friday and Saturday. Was it like 10:30 at night and you started twitching?
Well, actually, one of my girlfriends, she came and got me and I went out with them. And she took pity on me and she actually went out and danced with me. So there you go.
Oh, my.
She was like, I wouldn't do this for everyone, but so I got a little bit of dance.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I just to get this out of the way. Yes, there's a hurricane bearing down on me, so to speak. Although I just saw, they really don't know where it's going. They think they know where it's going. It's right now currently supposed to be 100 miles offshore by the time it gets as far north as Jacksonville, which is where I'm at. But they don't know.
And it could be too.
It could be 100 miles offshore. It could be 50 miles offshore. Fortunately, even though it's an extremely powerful Cat 5 storm, it's very compact. So the hurricane force winds only stretch 140 miles out from the storm. Or no, excuse me, it's less than that. It's 45 miles, yes. And then 140 miles out, tropical force winds are felt. So at 100 miles away, we're only going to have a tropical storm. The difference is profound, let me tell you.
I can imagine.
It's profound. Hurricanes, I don't recommend them. This will be my third since we've lived here. They went 20 years without one before we moved down here. And in less than 9 years, this is the third one. But we're going to be okay. People are worried. I don't know how many messages, and I appreciate everybody's concern and prayers. This house that we're in has been here since 1950. Oh, wow. It's a stone bungalow. Anything short of a Category 5 direct hit or a howitzer, I'm not worrying about it. Okay? And we're not in a floodplain. We never have to evacuate for flooding. Good. So we're fortunate in that regard. Worst that'll happen is the power will go out and we'll be bored out of our minds.
That would be just so wrong.
Yeah. That'll be the worst thing that will happen to us. So anyway, I appreciate everybody's kind messages and your concern. Don't worry. Everything's cool. It's good to see some familiar faces and names in the chat tonight. It's good. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Even no matter what we're talking about, you got a question, go ahead and type it in chat. We'll see it and we'll get to it at the soonest possible moment. Okay? So you had an interesting experience at the hospital this week.
I did.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So why don't you share what you heard somebody at the hospital see the K word?
Yeah, I was with my mother and she was about to have a procedure done, and we were in the back where they have the curtain off little areas, and there was a nurse in there with us asking questions, etc. She was putting the stuff in the computer, and I hear the K word, keto, and I went, home. And then my mom's like, what, why, what's that look for? And I said, I just heard somebody talk about keto. And then she went, huh? And so we both started like really listening and eavesdropping. And there was this guy, and he was just chatting away, just talking about all this different stuff and, how carbs really aren't, essential and on and on. And I looked at my mom and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, who is that guy? And the nurse said, he always talks about that. And I said, really? I said, you have got to get him in here. I want to talk to him. And she said, okay. And then we kind of talked more with her. And it comes to find out that she's studying to be a nurse practitioner because she wants to go into functional medicine. And, she's really big into the whole keto thing. So I thought that was like, yes, finally I'm getting some really positive that I witnessed myself in the health profession. So that's super exciting. And I'm going to get the guy who, first said the K word to come on an interview with me, because I think it's just fantastic. And he's just as excited about spreading the word as I am. And I was like, oh yeah, this is so awesome. So that was a super positive, experience considering what we were there for. So, it ended up being a good day.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important that we share our stories and our experiences. Yes. Big time. Okay, somebody named Erica says, due to the carnivore diet, planning to start tomorrow, is it best to start off slow or all in? Okay. First off, it's going to depend. Are you already low carb? If you're already low carb, jump right in, go meat and water, you got it. You'll have an uncomfortable 2 or 3 weeks while your body adjusts to becoming fat adapted. You might have some headaches, maybe some loose stool. There's a difference between loose stool and diarrhea. Common. Yeah. It's extremely common. I had loose stool for the first 5 months.
That's not uncommon from what I understand. So
yeah, and I didn't care because I lost the depression symptoms after 24 days. So I didn't care. I could have loose stool for the rest of my life. I wouldn't care. But if you're not already low carb, go low carb for 30 days too, to start, because otherwise you're going to have a really difficult experience.
Yeah,
it's
I totally agree with that.
But it would be very, very difficult.
Yeah, why punish yourself? It's not comfortable.
Yeah, do 30 days low carb. Let your body get used to not burning sugar, burning more body fat. Let yourself gradually become fat adapted, and then you can go, full carnivore, animal source foods only, meat and water, and do it I always recommend 30 days, actually 30 to 90 days, because for some people, their first 30 days, that they're not even remotely out of adaptation yet.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
The object is to get healthy. If you eat meat and drink water long enough, most people feel better quickly. Other people take a little longer. Yes. It's always specific to the individual.
Absolutely.
But it's a great question. Somebody says,
Frank mentioned,
don't forget salt. Yes, you need to always. Yeah. I cook with salt. I also frequently have a little pinch of salt. This is here on my computer desk here in my music studio. I'm coming to believe in the power of salt across a myriad of things.
Yeah, I use it. Absolutely.
You're welcome, Erica. That was a great question. We appreciate it a lot.
Very good question.
So speaking of carnivory and stuff like that, you're about to your 6 months.
Yes. The second week of September will be my 6 months. Carnivory.
That's a pretty significant mile marker along the way.
It is. It's specifically because honestly, I went into it because I just wanted to experiment. I wanted to see what it was like so I could talk about it and, have conversations with people, I knew what I was talking about.
Get somebody off your back named Brett.
Yeah, there's this person that was just bugging the crap out of me. So I was like, okay, whatever. So, and I had a few little things that keto hadn't addressed, but I honestly, I was thinking I'm going to give it, 30, 60 days. It's no big deal. It's easy, easy, easy. And I like it just fine. And I'm not really missing much from, my keto life. So it's not a big deal for me. And I'm still going. So I'm not sure I'll stay on it forever, but I don't see why I wouldn't. But, I'll never say never. But right now, I'm perfectly good with it. And it's almost 6 months. So, hey.
Share with everybody who's not familiar, because we got a lot of new people tonight.
Yes.
Share with everybody what's better since you've been doing this for 6 months.
For carnivore specifically, I am now off all medications. When I started carnivore, I was still on a really small dose of blood pressure medication, and now I'm off of it. And at first, when I got off of it, I had some blood pressure spikes, and I think that's probably normal. And now it's leveled off, and it's good. And I don't need any medication anymore. I don't want it. And also, I had still some symptoms of rosacea. I still had like a rosy nose and a little bit of a blushy cheeks, but mostly my nose. And now it is so much better. I still have it a little bit. I still have some healing to do, but it's considerably better, especially since I've been like adding bone broth. My skin is like rocking compared to where it was. So I'm super excited about that.
You started out the summer with snow white skin that if you just kind of ran your hand by the window with the sun shining on it, you would get a burn. And now, oh, look at that. That's not tanning booth, people.
Yeah, no. And I was whining at the beginning of the summer. I was like, well, everybody on carnivore, they're saying that they can go out in the sun and not get burned. And I would go out in the sun and get burned, and I'd get mad. And I'd be like,
she was Snow White, though. She was glow in the dark Snow White.
Yeah. Well, I'm not anymore. I'm back to what I looked like in high school, where I was extremely dark, and it's exciting. I'm like, finally. Part of it is because I was able to get off that blood pressure medication, which had a sun sensitivity element to it. And the other, I think, just getting rid of the toxins and, crap like that. I've been off seed oils, but you never know where something is sneaky in there. Especially we do go out to eat a lot on weekends, and you just never know. But now, I went to the beach a couple of weekends ago, and we were under a canopy for most of the day, but still you have the water reflecting. We're like literally right on the water and the sand. And when I've done that before, never even go out in the sun, I would burn. I'm talking burn if I didn't wear sunscreen. Well, I put zero sunscreen on, zero. And I actually laid out in the sun right by the water with all that reflection going on. And then the rest of the time under the canopy, again, with all the reflections. And I barely got burned, just a teeny bit. And the next day, it was a pretty little tan. And my poor husband, he got burned and he peeled. He didn't. It's usually me that does that. So I'm super excited.
He still has impurities in his skin.
Yeah. Well, he goes out to eat. He goes to lunch with the guys at work. And sometimes it's difficult. He does the best he can, but in restaurants, you don't know. So he does that 5 days a week, plus when we go out. So I am sure there's, seed oils in there and, other impurities that he has no clue. He does the best he can, but, sometimes you just don't know. So yeah, he actually got burned and peeled, and he wasn't in the sun. I was probably in the sun actually more than he was. So and he just never burned. So that was real interesting that, I was the one that, got all nice and tan. And so I'm super excited about that. Yeah.
We've got a question from Carnivorous Cowgirl Cindy. She says, Lone Star, as a woman,
Cindy.
how much meat do you eat a day?
Okay. I eat twice a day. And what I generally eat, sometimes I'll vary. You can see my food on my, profile or whatever, but, I usually have about, 6 to 8 ounces of ground beef, into a patty, and then I'll have 5 to 7 pieces of bacon. And during the week, I tend to have that again for dinner. So you're talking about a pound of ground beef. And then, sometimes I only have bacon once a day. So I could have anywhere from 10 to 14 pieces of bacon a day, just depending. And on weekends, I'll have like a 10-ounce steak fillet with bacon. So I would say, a pound, maybe a little bit more than a pound of actual meat. And then I have bacon. I have bacon every day. If I don't, it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know.
Bacon is meat. Bacon is actual meat.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm talking red meat. Okay, let me clarify.
Okay.
Red meat. But yeah,
Uh,
so I don't probably have as much as like some people say, but I'm not hungry, so I don't guess my body really needs more than that. So I mean,
we
you
got,
may need more.
I, it's always specific to the individual.
It is. It
You
is.
just, the Cowgirl City, my wife is a month behind me in carnivory, and she's 2 inches taller than you and just turned 60. Well, she didn't just turn 60. She's 60. And, her body's undergone this major transformation. She lost 29 pounds, but her body shape changed significantly. And she feels amazing. She lost the arthritis in her shoulder. She has it in her hand still, but it's greatly improved.
Yes.
So don't eat until you're not another bite full. Only eat when you're hungry, and eat when you do eat until you're not another bite full. It's remember to include enough fat. It's animal food. It's really hard to eat too much.
For me, it absolutely is.
Okay, we got another good question from Carnivore Tracy. It says, how did you both meet and connect? We met digitally on Twitter first.
Yep.
And started back and forth and whatnot. And then messages started happening about different topics related to diet and what we were doing. And I think I brought it up first. I asked you.
You did. Because I was like, wait, what? Me on video? Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing for me because I was like, well, number one, why would he want me to be on a podcast? And number two, oh, good gosh, that means I have to be in front of a camera. Ooh. So that, yeah. But I figured, you know what? It's a good thing for my growth, so I'm going to go for it. And I was like, okay, Brett, let's do it. So,
and have you not blossomed since you've started doing this?
I think so, yeah.
In conjunction
Definitely more confident, yeah.
In conjunction with carnivory as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Phoebe.co is asking you, Amber, what blood pressure meds were you taking?
Valsartan. That I cannot tell you the other. I was on 3 at one time plus a diuretic, and the other 2. It's been a while since I've been on the other 2, so I can't remember which ones those are. But the last one I was taking and took it for years was the Valsartan.
We had another question. It was just joined from Arizona. Vetty No Spaghetti. Great name. Are you still using butter? I cook with butter. I lick the melted butter off my plate that I cooked with. So yes, that I do. That is the only dairy I consume, period.
Yeah, that's pretty much me too. I don't have it very often, but occasionally I will. Like the other night when I cooked a New York strip, I actually put butter in the pan and seared it in the butter. But that I don't do that very often.
And again, Carnivore Tracy asked a good question. Is this our first joint video? No, this is our 15th official episode, and we had like 4 practice ones before that.
Yeah.
And hours of discussions, just the 2 of us before that.
It was a process.
Yeah, it definitely was a process. So, you're tanning again. You're drinking bone broth. Your skin's going great. You a few weeks ago added a little fat. You made that little adjustment. I recently made an adjustment where, let me explain this now. People don't realize how much I eat a day.
And okay, I'll admit I was freaked out when I heard this because I misunderstood what he was saying when what he's eating. Wait, this is.
I would tell people and I did. I wasn't trying to be dishonest. I was just trying to keep from being inundated with, are you worried about, because a lot of people hear how I eat. Aren't you worried about nitrites and nitrates? And oh my God, are you afraid you're going to die? Kind of stuff. And I told people I ate 8 to 10 slices of bacon with every meal. In reality, I ate probably 10 to 12 or 14 slices of bacon with every meal. And I've cut that back to just 8 slices a meal. but I increased the protein on my ground beef, or the size of my ground beef patty for breakfast and lunch, by 1 ounce. And the reason I did this is because I want to get rid of the spare tire that when it's gone, I'm going to stand up and show it off one day, but not until. And it's paying off. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to burn more body fat. And it's paying off in just a few days. I'm very excited about it. That's just a little tiny tweak. And through the course of this, somebody asked me, so how many calories do you eat? And I really didn't know. And so I Googled serving sizes and all this kind of stuff. It found out I was eating just over 4,000 calories a day.
But it's a calorie restricted diet.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
you know that?
You're
restricting your calories.
And it was a registered dietitian who asked me those things that I did. And so help me. They said, well, you're still restricted. What am I, 4,000 calories a day is restrictive? Yeah,
I had the same thing happen to me, and I'm like, it's not. No.
You're restricting yourself from good food, like Indian food or Italian. Please, I'm not restricted at all.
I haven't counted calories either. I honestly have no clue how many calories I'm getting a day. I really don't. You know, maybe it falls in that, lower calorie range. I don't know, but I'm not restricting anything.
My weight has not strayed from between 177 and 181 at the high end since October of last year.
Eating 4,000 calories.
4,000 calories a day. And I run nowhere. I walk. Now, I do walk 15 to 20 miles a week, weather permitting, and I lift weights. But I'm not lifting enough. I've got too much to do to spend 3 or 4 hours in a gym working out. I go in, I do my stations. Right now, my workout is about 35, 40 minutes, tops. I got too much stuff to do. I can't spend all day. So I'm not exerting myself horribly all day long. And I'm not gaining any weight. But Brett, it's calories in, calories out. Eat less, move more. Eat less, move more, Brett. Amber, you should be moving while you're sitting there eating less.
I know. Yeah. You mean like the 2 to 5 hours, 6 days a week that I used to spend in the gym, going to 4 different gyms and killing myself with back-to-back classes and weightlifting and, oh my God, you name it.
Only to gain it back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did lose weight, but it was not good. My hair was falling out. I mean, I was also calorie restricting because that's the only way I could lose the weight because, with the working out and then the lowering the calories, and then I'd work out more and I'd lower the calories more. And it was just this constant, and yeah, I couldn't maintain that. It's not sustainable. It's not reasonable. No, calorie restricted diets are not sustainable. They're just not. And so to compare that to a ketogenic or carnivore diet is nuts. It's just nuts. It's not the same thing. It is not. Maybe, you do have a calorie deficit. I don't know. But it is not the same thing as a calorie restriction like what I used to do. Go 800 calories and working out 5 hours a day. That's calorie restriction. That's move more, eat less. Move on.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. And Tracy asked something real quick. Let's get to this. She wanted to know where our episodes could be found, our previous ones. And you can go to YouTube and look up KetovoreKast, and Kast is with a K. And we have all of them uploaded to date, right? We're all up to date now?
Ketovore is with a K also. Yes. KetovoreKast, all 14 episodes are up there. And they'll be there for perpetuity. And hopefully before I go to work tomorrow morning, this episode will be up. Might be tomorrow afternoon, but it could be tomorrow morning. I don't know.
If you still have power.
I'll have power tomorrow. I won't have to worry about losing power till Tuesday or Wednesday. So, fingers crossed.
You're welcome, Tracy.
Yeah, it's great questions, Tracy. We appreciate you asking so much.
Very much.
An issue that I want to talk to you about, and this is before I get into it, this is not directed at anybody. This is directed at everybody who's ever fallen off the wagon. Because I was hit with a lot from multiple people over the last few days, instances, folks, saying I messed up, I ate something I shouldn't have, I went on a carb binge, I went on a sugar binge, I had a bad day, and then I ate some crap I shouldn't have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What do you do? What do you think? What are your thoughts? And the first thing to remember is you're a human being. Human beings are flawed, fallible. We screw up. We make mistakes. You acknowledge that you made a mistake. You acknowledge you did something you shouldn't have done. So now you got two choices. You can either be honest with yourself and recognize why you did what you did and take the steps necessary to correct it, because deep down inside, we all know what those are.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what those are.
Absolutely.
It's always specific to the individual. That's why I'm not giving out a mantra of things to do or not do, because I don't live at your house. Thank goodness. All my stuff's here. The other thing is, don't berate yourself and learn from the experience.
Exactly.
Whether you're, carnivore, keto, carnivore is a ketogenic way of eating, by the way, just to reemphasize.
Yes.
It's the choice is ultimately yours. Are you going to choose to be healthy, or are you going to choose the opposite? And see, for me, it's not a question of whether I gain weight or not. I could care less about the weight thing. For me, it's a matter of sanity. For Amber, it's a matter of whether her blood pressure's any good or not. Your blood pressure stays up too long, bad things happen.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
And, I'll never risk depression again for any reason. So that's why I have not had a cheat day. I don't fall off the wagon, because it wouldn't just affect me. It would affect everybody who knows me and everyone around me. Even though Amber lives in Texas and I'm in Florida, if I start eating garbage, this won't last very long.
Yeah.
Not very long at all, because my behavior wouldn't permit it. I would become an obnoxious jerk so fast it would snap your neck. So, falling off the wagon happens from time to time for some people, and just don't beat yourself up over it. Learn from the experience and do whatever is necessary not to repeat it.
And just get right back on. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, some people are going to have really nasty, after effects. And that may be enough for them to go, you know what, that really wasn't worth it. But, sometimes like Brett and I discussed, that I'm going to go on a cruise, and it's like 50 something days now. It's October 27th is when we leave. Super excited about that. Now, for the most part, when I'm on a cruise, I eat either keto, or now I'll be eating carnivore. I don't eat the bread. I don't eat, a lot of that kind of stuff. I get a steak from the steakhouse. Yeah, I know. I don't care. I want the steak, so I'm getting the steak. And I'll see if they'll, get me some bacon. And if not, I'll snag some in the morning and take it with me, but that's probably what I'm going to eat for the most part. And, but I will say that I am going to probably have a drink, and my favorite drink, and it's just something that I just love on Royal, is the chocolate martini. I know, bad, horrible, but I'm not making excuses. I'm not going to have a million of them. I know Brett's shaking his head, but I probably will do it. You never know. And I may really be sorry for it, and I'll learn my lesson. But
here's the thing. I'm shaking my head at the notion of a chocolate martini.
Oh, yeah.
Chocolate and a martini together. Those aren't flavors that I associate with.
Dude, you hadn't had one.
I'm not going to either.
I know you're not. But I probably will. I'll be honest. And I'm not going to make excuses for it. And I'm not going to defend it either, because if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And the second I step off that ship, it is back to clean everything. But for the most part, I'm going to be very clean. I am. But, hey, I'm not going to lie. it's kind of my vacation. I want to do it. I'm going to do it.
I'm not going to feel one iota of any discomfort, and I don't want you to feel any discomfort.
Yeah, I probably won't, but you never know. But if I do, you know what? It's on me.
That's right. You will own it all.
Yeah, oh, I will own it. Believe me, trust me.
And I hope and pray that I don't get to say I told you so.
I told you so.
Because those
updated.
words will come out of my mouth.
Oh, I know they will. Oh, I know.
Just this whole notion of cheating and whatnot along these lines, so you're not describing cheating.
Mm-mm.
You're not,
no.
You're just being upfront and honest. And I think that's a problem that other people, I'm going to have a cheat meal today.
Yeah, I really hate that. I hate that word cheat.
I know.
Yeah.
So that it implies, according to the dictionary, cheating is an act of fraud and dishonesty. In sports, cheating is used as a term to imply gaining an unfair advantage. What advantage is there to putting non-optimal things into your pie hole?
Exactly.
And suffering the consequences.
Yep. And you got to be willing to accept the consequences. And if you're not, then don't do it. And the other thing too is if you're the type of person who cannot, have a little taste of something and then, totally, go off the wagon and go down that rabbit hole and you can't make yourself come back, don't do it. It's not worth it. I don't have that issue. I do not.
Some people are moderators, as she described.
Exactly.
She should moderate. She can take things in moderation. I'm an abstainer. I can't do moderation. It's either or for me. It's all or none.
True for me. But, once you break that food addiction, or at least for me, I've had zero issues, just zero. And I don't, feel the need that, oh my gosh, I have this little taste of whatever. Oh my God, I have to keep having it. No, I don't have that issue anymore. So I'm not the least bit worried.
I haven't missed anything that I used to love at all. Not 1 second of one day in 412 days.
But gosh dang it, when you're on the ship, and it's just like that whole atmosphere and you're like, on the beach and you're kicked back and yeah, no, it's kind of the whole experience. It's not that, oh my God, I miss it. It's just the whole experience. And I admit it. I'm not going to make excuses.
Hey,
it's my time of year,
No, you're a full-grown adult. You can choose that. That's why I never tell people, you can't do that. Who am I to tell another adult what they can or cannot do?
Yeah, and the you can't do something never works for me anyway, because you say I can't, and I'll be like, really? Okay, we'll see about that. And you can better believe I'm going to do it.
Carnivore Tracy's asking, how did you lose your last 10 pounds? You want to tell them how you lost your last 10 pounds first?
Okay, let's see. I will say, I lost my weight on keto before I ever started carnivore. Matter of fact, I've gained a few pounds on carnivore, which I believe is part of the adaptation. But anyway, I was keto when I lost all my weight. I was already in maintenance when I switched. But the last 10 pounds were a little difficult. It started really slowing down. But I just stuck with it. Honestly, I didn't do anything any different. I really didn't. I just had to have more patience. And it was a little frustrating because you're like, oh, you're so close. But instead of losing that, 2 pounds a week or the 1.5 pounds a week, I was more like, 0.5 and 0.25. Sometimes I'd go up just a little bit and I'd be like, no, you're in the wrong direction, But it wasn't horrible. I mean, over the 8 months that it took to lose all of my weight that I wanted to lose, I averaged 1.5 pounds a week. So I don't know if I was just lucky or if I was just that, strict with what I was doing. I don't know, but for me, it was a very pleasant experience. And I really honestly didn't do anything different that I can remember anyway. It was just a little bit slower at the end. I mean, it's just the way it is. The closer you get to that, goal weight, where your body just is not too keen about losing all its fat. So it's going to fight back a little bit, and it's going to take a little bit more time. It's not a big deal. I mean, just have patience. I hate that word, but it's true. You do. Yeah. It'll come off. You just,
The P word.
Yeah, the P word. Mm.
I lost my last 10 pounds through carnivory. In January of 2015, I weighed 289 pounds. And then in February, I started low carb and walking. And I walked off, over 3.5 years, I walked off 94 pounds. But I still had all my mental illness symptoms. And then I learned about carnivore, and July 16th of 2018, I started carnivory.
My birthday.
Her birthday. Didn't know her then.
See, we were meant to meet. See,
Exactly.
It was
Preordained.
It was destiny. Yeah.
But I didn't get into this to lose weight. I mean, I thought I would lose a little more. I didn't know. I ended up losing 22 pounds in a couple of months on carnivory. And then I got down as low as 173 total. So I lost 116 pounds over 4 years, pretty much. 3 years, 7 months, something like that. And my weight's been stable ever since, within a 4-pound variance. I mean, 170. I got down as low as 173, and but it's been stuck at that 177, 181 range since October of last year. And I haven't made any effort to lose, gain. I eat when I'm hungry. I eat until I'm not another bite full. I only eat the meat I crave and can afford. That's all I do, people. It's that simple. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of folks have difficulty understanding. That's really all you do?
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy. It's that simple.
It really is. I mean, it sounds like it's so restrictive, and I guess in some sense maybe it is. But once you do it and you get used to it, it's so easy. And honestly, for most places, you can figure out something to have. Sometimes, depending on, like an Italian restaurant, it's a little bit harder. You have those issues. But for the most part, I mean, and most places will, if they serve bacon, they'll let you, order bacon as a side. So, I mean, you have to pay extra for it, and, but whatever. If it's what I want.
Carnivore. Let me get this. Carnivore for the Win asks, does this way of eating help with anxiety?
Yeah, I just saw that.
I suffered from severe major depression, anxiety, and insomnia for over 40 years. I took meds for 25 years. Okay. I was on Ativan for 8.5 years for anxiety. Carnivory kicked all my anxiety issues to the curb in about 5.5 months. The only time I get anxious now is an appropriate time. Loved ones in the hospital. Something catastrophic has occurred. Then I can get anxious. But I haven't had a panic attack. I mean, I'm as laid back and chilled out now as I've ever been in my life. I don't get, life still throws complications at us. The car still breaks down. I got a hurricane bearing down my throat, and we're going to be fine. I'm not anxious at all. We've taken all the appropriate steps. We've done all we can do. But yes, that's what eating only meat and drinking water did for me.
Well, I can talk a little bit about that. My good friend, the one I went out with last night, her daughter has severe anxiety. I'm talking severe panic attacks, ended up having to go to the hospital because, it's like she's having, a stroke or something. It was awful. And when she does the ketogenic diet, she didn't even have to do carnivory, and she's never done that because she actually used to be a vegetarian. She eats a little bit more meat now, but she's still not, I don't think she could ever be carnivore. I should never say never. But anyway, just being on keto significantly helped her. But whenever she would drink beer on weekends, she would have another panic attack. And if she like had carbs, she's young, she's really young, you think, oh, well, it's not going to happen this time kind of thing. Well, it did every single time. So she's really learned that, her diet is very important. And so whether you're keto or you're carnivore, it really does help with the anxiety. Maybe it won't cure it completely. I don't know, but it sure was a significant difference for her. So, yes.
Carnivory ended mine. It's gone. I mean, it's gone.
That's
If
awesome.
you'd have told me just 3 years ago that I'd be having a Cat 5 hurricane come within 100 miles of my house and that I would be relaxed and laughing and giggling at the same time while I'm talking about it, I'd have thought you were nuts. Because I would have been planning an escape route and all this kind of craziness and going through all these gyrations that wouldn't have fixed anything. It would have been completely unnecessary. Today, this morning, my wife and I, we got home from church. We talked about it. We secured the yard. Because one of the things with the hurricane you want to do, you have to realize that everything in the yard that's not nailed down can become a missile.
Yeah.
That can go through your house and through your body. So you have to be very meticulous and make sure anything that air can get under and send airborne is secure. And you'd be surprised what's in your backyard that can go in the air. You find that out after you experience your first hurricane. And I told you we live in a stone block house. It's a bungalow. It's a typical, normal, it's gazillions of them in Florida, all made in the 50s and 60s. And there's a wall, and every one of them, there's no window. And for us, that's our bedroom. There's on the back wall, there's no window there. And my wife and I were in there. I can't remember. Yeah, Hurricane Matthew. Hurricane Matthew did similarly. It was a Cat 5 at one point, got really big and powerful and came up the coast, but it got within 50 miles of us. And, we heard what was like baseballs being thrown up against that wall. Well, the next day when we looked, it was leaves from trees, green leaves, who had hit the wall so hard they were splattered like paint. That's how hard a leaf from a tree could sound just hitting the wall in a hurricane. So I'm not the least bit nervous or worried about it. So that's what meat's done for me. I mean, it's really changed every aspect of my life for the better. Other things that we talked about. Are you ever really hungry at all?
Me? No. Not really. I mean, when I get close to like the noontime, my first meal, I'll start getting some grumblings and I'll go, oh, okay, it's time to eat. But like starving, like I did on calorie restricted diets, no, I do not experience that at all, ever. Yeah, it's completely different. And that's what it aggravates me when people, keep saying, well, it's all about the calories. Obviously, you're in a calorie deficit or you wouldn't be losing weight. Well, first of all, I lost my weight. I'm good. I don't really care about that part anymore. I'm maintenance. So weight is not the thing anymore. Don't care. It's about health now. It's about, getting off that medication. It's about, staying off the medication, should I say. It's about my skin clearing up, et cetera, like that. I don't care about a stupid calorie. And I'm not a calorimeter or whatever you call the dang thing. And, I'm not a closed system either, and I'm not burning stuff in my body. It's just so aggravating when people keep coming back at you. I'll post something, say something about calorie or whatever. Well, that's just stupid, because it makes no sense because it's still a calorie deficit. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, drives me nuts.
Matt Reynolds, 21, says, I'm late to join this. What is the subject of this discussion?
All kinds of
ketogenic ways of eating and getting healthy. That's essentially it. We both, Amber was on a ketogenic diet specifically for over 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And she went carnivore almost 6 months ago. And I've been carnivore. I was low carb for 3.5 years. And then I went carnivore 412 days ago. And that's kind of what brings us up to date. And I have a hurricane coming, and Amber doesn't. So I think I should just go to Amber's house. She's also got a pool, and we don't.
Yeah.
I need to make my wife aware of that.
Tan, see?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, and let's move on to now. Also, for you new folks that have just wandered in, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We got about 15 minutes left, and we've had some great questions for Carnivore Tracy and others. Really appreciate that. One thing I want to mention real quick, because somebody was asking me like 3 minutes before the show started. They were worried about they couldn't afford grass-fed meat. And they were worried they were going to do the best they could, but they were thinking it wouldn't be eating grain-finished beef. Grain-fed beef wasn't going to be as good for them. Don't worry about that, people. Hello, Sarah. Good to see you, dear. Carnivore Yogi. Anyway, don't worry about that, folks. Eat the meat you crave and can afford. If you can't afford, I can't afford grass-fed. I've never had any grass-fed that I'm aware of, and I'm thriving. Yeah. Every way coming and going. I feel in no way slighted. I don't feel like the kid on the other side of the fence watching other kids play in the grass-fed playground going, oh, I'm so left out. What am I missing?
I will occasionally get grass-fed beef, but it's just because something different. I do believe that there's probably some benefits to it, but eating meat versus eating all the standard American diet is such a huge difference. If that's all you can afford, you know what? It's so much better that it's just not even worth worrying about. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, if you can afford it, great, go for it. There might be some benefits, but I wouldn't worry about it. Do what you need to do.
Yeah. Don't get caught up. We see this periodically on social media. There'll be this sudden, if you don't eat grass-fed meat, you're doing it wrong. You won't be as healthy. You won't be getting all your micronutrients. There's people who've never eaten grass-fed in their life who are living this way. And matter of fact, the Andersons come to mind because I've heard them say on more than one occasion that grass-fed doesn't taste as good to them.
That's what I've heard too. I didn't notice a difference, honestly, but I have heard that from a lot of people.
For the difference in price, I would hope it tasted 1,000 times. Get at least your money, your dollar value in flavor or something.
Exactly. I really haven't noticed a difference. I'll be honest.
I haven't felt like I'm missing out on it. I don't think I'm missing out on anything by not eating grass-fed. I really don't. And I don't have a problem. If you like it, you can afford it. Eat all you want. Who am I to say? Eat the meat you crave and can afford, not the meat that Brett recommends, or don't eat what Amber eats. Don't eat what somebody else eats. Just because you saw it, eat what you crave and can afford.
Absolutely.
And I just can't emphasize that enough. And it's frustrating to see people who are otherwise so well-intentioned, they get hung up on this. Yeah. And it creates confusion for a lot of people, and it upsets new people who don't understand why are these other people talking about I should do this instead when these people aren't. Always remember, this is very specific to the individual.
Absolutely.
It's extremely specific. My wife is a carnivore, but she doesn't eat like I do. She doesn't eat what I do. It's very specific to her what she eats. Now there's some overlapping, she likes bacon. Is any rational person on planet Earth?
That's what I used to be one of those people who didn't care about it. It's not that I disliked it. It's just I didn't care enough about it. And I never ordered it. I never made it. I never bought it. Like, I'm not
That's
kidding you.
why you're doing better, is because you're living right with bacon.
Bacon. See, that's also the answer to world peace. So, for sure. Like,
There are, let's talk about that for a second, because this is not something that a lot of people will talk about publicly, but I think we need to bring it up. I've been to meetups. You've been to meetups.
mm-hmm.
We both have observed similar things. People who are not inflamed are incredibly pleasant to be around, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's like you never met a stranger either. And it's like, oh, that's just like when I heard that one person talking keto outside the little, curtain room. And I'm like, oh, and it's like, oh, my tribe, my people, and it's like, it's this exciting thing. And when you talk to people, they're excited too, and they're happy. I never met a grumpy person. I went to KetoCon and I never met a grumpy person, not one person. Not one rude person, nothing. I mean, it was the most pleasant experience. Seriously.
I believe it. I believe it. And I've had other people. Caitlin Weeks messaged me the other day suggesting that it would solve world peace, and I think there's some validity to that.
Oh, absolutely.
The further along I get into this, and the more, I mean, I know in my own life, in our marriage, at home, and everything. It's so much easier to talk. It's easier to disagree about things without getting wrapped up into and creating a mountain out of nothing. Frank K. Einstein says, no brain fog equals happy demeanor. You're right, because you're not confused. You're not in that fugue state of, what did you say? I don't even know what we were talking about, man. And you're on the way to work, and you like come out of that fog you're in, and you're like, ooh, I don't remember driving this far. Did you ever have that? I remember that. They used to happen. They used to happen to me all the time.
Like, how did I get home?
Well, no, I always knew how I got home, but I mean, like driving long distance on the interstate, or kind of lose focus, and then you're like, oh, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Not like I fell asleep. It's just like the brain fog would kick in.
I would get home and I'd be like, I don't remember turning on my street. I don't remember, but I'm in my driveway. I didn't black out. I wasn't drunk. Oh. It was just, woo.
Okay, Vetty No Spaghetti wants to know, can you tell us again where to find your other videos? You can find the KetovoreKast, KetovoreKast, at YouTube. I spelled that correctly.
You did. Good job.
And I'm a daily cannabis user, and I still spelled that correctly. But yeah, and you could also find, Amber's got her own YouTube page at Lone Star Keto Girl.
Mm-hmm. Lone Star Keto.
Lone Star Keto. And then I have a YouTube page at Thankful Carnivore, because we do our own stuff in addition to what we do together. We're free human beings to act as we choose. And we do so regularly. Okay, we got about 7 minutes left. One thing we've been getting asked about here lately is, Brett, how do you handle all the hatefulness and all the anger and all the, I've got written down here, social media, PITA, pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So
I've been getting hit more often. I don't know what the deal is.
I told you it would happen.
It's like, why? I don't go on anybody else's page and, say, oh, you're, you are so wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're stupid. And, that kind of thing. I'm like, just why? Or a calorie is a calorie, and you're in a calorie deficit, so quit saying that you're not, or you're not cutting calories or whatever. And I'm like, why? Just why?
Somebody's asking real quick. I'll answer this real quick. Rouse 444 is asking, is buying pre-cooked bacon okay to use? It's up to you to decide. You're gonna have to read the label and see what the ingredients are, and then make a decision. If it's good for you, enjoy it.
It's a little more pricey, I think. And for me, I just like fresh bacon. I mean, sometimes I will, like, if I know I'm going to be going somewhere, like on my boat or, at the doctor's office or whatever, we're going to be there a long time, I'll pre-cook the bacon and I'll take it with me. But I prefer fresh bacon, but my husband has had the pre-cooked bacon and he's okay with that on occasions. But I mean, if you like it, but I'm not a big fan personally, but
I've seen the packages where it says it's ready to eat right out of the package,
mm-hmm.
and then it doesn't look like it's been cooked at all.
Yeah, see that's my thing. I like mine crispy.
I
So,
want mine
yeah.
looking like it was cooked.
Yeah, me
And
too.
this stuff looks like it just came out of any other
Yeah.
bacon package and needs to be put in a frying pan or the air fryer for perfection. Yeah. And that's why we bought one of those once to try it out, and we were very unimpressed. We were not impressed at all. It was a one-time only. So we've got 4 minutes left.
Did we answer all the questions?
We've answered every one that I've seen.
Okay, good.
If we didn't answer your question, please repeat it real quick. I think we did.
Okay.
Where can everybody find you?
Well, on Instagram under Lone Star Keto Girl, and on Twitter, Lone_Star_Keto. And I also have a website, LoneStarKeto.com. It's Lone-Star-Keto.com. Yeah, I don't know why I did all the different ones. I don't know.
Rouse, if you like that bacon, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it every bite. Don't sweat it. If you're craving it and you can afford it, hello, tall redheaded lady.
Hey.
She got here just at the very end, but I'm glad she made it. It's good to see you, dear. You can find me at my social media at Twitter, where the crazy meat-eating savages run wild. You can find me at Stickman Bleeding. That's StickmanBleedin. Please don't add a G. You won't find me. Thankful.carnivore, which is where you're at, or you wouldn't be seeing this. And on Facebook at Thankful Carnivore. And the website is artlife.us. And we'll be doing another one of these later this coming week, depending on my electricity situation and internet access.
If your house is still standing?
Oh, I'm not worried about the house. The house will be here. The house will be here. And if it's not, we're going to dig out one or the other because we got really good homeowners insurance. Nice. Yeah. So I'm not really worried about it. Not at all. But she couldn't get it. She couldn't tell Redhead is at work and couldn't get here at 7. Well, that's okay, darling. Work happens. But we appreciate you. Thank you, Betty. We're going to be safe. I'm not worried about it. Our home, we don't live in a floodplain. This will be our 3rd hurricane. We know what we're doing. And it's going to be okay. It really will. My wife's got plenty of books downloaded to her tablets, and I've got stuff on my tablets I can read. We're golden. Nice. It's a good deal. Appreciate everybody who came by tonight.
Yes,
thank you so much for your questions. You were outstanding. You got any final thoughts there, my friend? We got 2 minutes.
Thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and I want y'all to have a really good Labor Day. Be safe.
Have a good Labor Day. Enjoy yourself. Take your meat with you if you're going somewhere. No sense in succumbing to social pressure. Be assertive. Bring your bacon. Bring your grilled beef. Bring your steak. Whatever you want to cook on your cousin or Aunt Janine's grill. Just don't eat any non-optimal stuff just to be polite. Listen, my friends, it's been great fun. We'll see you the next time. No matter what your day brings you, always remember, be thankful. See you next time.